Hey everybody, Bryan Hornung here. Welcome to another edition of Guess Who Got Hacked and Breached this week. So I'm going to take a little bit of a different tack this week. I am going to go over a few hacks that happened, but I'm also going to kind of take a step back, pull the lens back, take a bigger look at what's going on out there and the threat landscape as it relates to businesses. But to kick it off, here we go. If you guys remember, a couple weeks ago or months ago now, I put a video out about the FBI warning to K through 12 schools. And now, interestingly enough, a few months later, we're seeing that play out right in front of our very eyes. Fresno, California school cancels class due to ransomware. And they were just about to... they were in the full swing of the fall semester, and the Selma Unified took down its entire network Friday after a ransomware attack, according to a message sent to parents. The district IT team is working with a cybersecurity consultant to take immediate steps to bring the network back to normal operation, the message read. So this is interesting. Another school breached and hacked and had to take things offline. So we have another school here in North Carolina. That last school was in California, obviously. This one's in North Carolina. This was just the other day. Haywood County School on Tuesday confirmed a data breach and ransomware attack on the school district last week. They go on to say, we are taking every possible step to eliminate any potential harm to staff, students, and affiliates. At this point, the forensic work has not been to determine the extent of the specific data that was stolen. We ask staff, students, and parents to monitor any suspicious activity. So this is interesting. They were hit with ransomware, but they're also saying that data was stolen. So this goes to tell us that at some point during the attack, the attackers informed the school district that not only did we encrypt your data, but we stole it before it. So if you even think about not paying the ransom, we're going to release this data on the dark web, which that is a commonality that we're seeing playing out throughout every attack that we've seen in the last 6 months. It's more common than not for them to steal the data first and then release the ransomware. And then give those kind of demands that if you don't pay the ransom, we're going to release this data to the internet. So we also had another attack just the other day on the Miami-Dade County cyber school. So the public school virtual learning system was hit by a cyber attack, which caused them to, I believe, shut things down. So they are... Miami-Dade Public Schools virtual learning system was hit by a cyber attack, according to the superintendent, as the district was trying to implement a fix for the issues encountered by teachers and students on Monday, described as a faulty third-party server that acted like a gateway to the portal and virtual learning system. They discovered a cyber attack was simultaneously happening, which blocked students from logging on. Superintendent said he is confident the cyber attack, along with Monday's issues, were contributing to why students could not attend the first day of class in the county. In the shadow of this catastrophic failure by Cisco, there was a simultaneous cyber attack taking place utilizing Comcast, basically depriving our students and our teachers from accessing not only the platforms, but even dadeschools.net. Comcast is now deeply engaged in developing the strategies to prevent a continuation of the cyber attacks. So it says at last check, around 218,000 students accessed the district's platform on Tuesday. And it says despite the perpetrators' intentions to disrupt the teaching and learning in Miami-Dade County Public Schools, to take away the ability to connect with a teacher that students have not seen for over 5 months, they had over 218,000 students successfully get through the system and connect. So it sounds like they had what's known as a denial of service attack on their systems on Monday, and they were able to get back up and running on Tuesday. So this is more of a lessons learned type situation. Obviously, they didn't get hit with ransomware, but these are things that schools are going to have to think about and plan for, that if one of our roads or one of the ways into accessing our platform is taken down or is offline or is unreachable, what are the avenues that we have to get students to where they need to go? Do we have backup things like backup internet, redundant internet, ways to switch the traffic over, or ways to block things like denial of service attacks? You can put things in place depending on how sophisticated they are. You can put things in place to prevent them as long as they're not too sophisticated. Some denial of service attacks, no matter what you do, you're not going to prevent them just because they're so well thought out and sophisticated. So that's all I'm going to cover for who got hacked and breached this week, because K through 12 schools and universities in the United States are a huge target right now. They know that efforts are focused on getting back to normal operations or somewhat normal operations under the COVID situation that we're in, and there's a lot of remote learning and remote things going on with schools. So hackers know this is low-hanging fruit, a huge opportunity for them to try to exploit the schools who aren't fully prepared for cybersecurity yet. That's one reason, and the other reason is that their attention is focused elsewhere, trying to get teachers and staff and students connected versus dealing with cyber threats and things like that. But it is something that businesses are going to have to plan for. It's the reality. City governments, schools, businesses, you're going to have to build a plan for cybersecurity. It's going to cost you money, and you're going to have to raise your fees and your prices to compensate for that. Businesses that think that they can go about this and go about tackling cybersecurity without raising their own prices so they can collect revenue so they can afford this are sorely mistaken. You're going to have to raise prices to pay for cybersecurity. It's inevitable that this is the reality that we live in. You're going to be labeled irresponsible if you do not do these kinds of things. And so unless you're planning to run your business on less profit to pay for cybersecurity, because it does cost money, it takes a lot of resources, and it takes a lot of tools to do it properly. So if you're going to either decide to cut into your profit to pay for it, most businesses aren't willing to do that, or there isn't enough profit there to do that. So they have to charge more, and that's the reality. And this is highlighted by an article I found right here. Small businesses are underprepared for intensified cyber risk landscapes. And it goes on to say that cyber risks have increased during the pandemic, and the proof's in the numbers. The FBI is seeing a 400% increase in the reports of cyber attacks since the onset of COVID in the U.S. And moreover, ransomware attacks are increasingly targeting smaller businesses that don't have the same defenses as their larger counterparts. These very well-funded, well-put-together, very well-run cyber criminal businesses, because that's what they are. They're very well-run businesses. Quite frankly, I've seen legitimate businesses run worse than the way that I've seen these cyber criminals run their businesses. They target specific industries. They target specific companies and people, and they know what to do to trigger an event, to trigger an employee to do something in order for them to further their attack. These are very well-run organizations, and remote working companies and schools sending people home only increases the threat landscape that these hackers have to work with. Now you can exploit the individual in their own home and try to move laterally in their network to get to a corporate network and things like that. So many small businesses right here, it says it in the article, have bring your own device policies, which further expose them to cyber risks and make enforcing company-wide security policies that much more difficult. Yes, if you're going to allow your employees to use their own devices, it makes it infinitely more difficult to put in a policy and procedure to make sure that they're following and doing things and keeping your network secure. the lack of policies or the lack of your ability to provide them with the equipment they need to work from home increases your threat risk to your business. I mean, it's just the reality. We recommend that all of our clients provide the equipment to their employees because it's much easier to implement policies when you actually own the equipment, and treat work from home as a benefit. I mean, I understand under COVID, it seems like it's a necessity, but it needs to be treated as a benefit, and certain things are required. This cannot be the wild, wild west when you send your people to work from home. Otherwise, you're exposing your company to greater cybersecurity risks, and that's not a good thing. Likewise, it goes on to say small businesses could be missing a dedicated IT security department to police malicious activity, not to mention the fact that their cyber insurance take-up rates haven't aligned with those of larger businesses. So what's that mean? It means that small businesses are not buying cyber insurance. So if you are attacked, if you have a breach in your business and you do not have cyber insurance, you are on the hook to pay for all of it. So not only is this tough because there are tons of laws being introduced, and I'm going to show you that in a minute, where you're not going to be allowed to pay the ransom here in the very near future. And if you don't have a cyber insurance, then you're basically paying for it yourself, and it's probably going to put you out of business. The hackers are also changing their methodologies to learn and figure out if you're working with a cyber insurance company. Because when a cyber insurance company gets involved, number one, there's not many people with the expertise to interface with these hackers. So it's usually the same people that are interfacing with these hackers, and they know each other, as crazy as that sounds. But they know each other. The hackers and the criminals know the insurance people that are helping these companies get the ransom demand down or negotiating the outcome of the situation. So if they're not engaging with somebody they know, or they don't feel like it's somebody who is involved in the insurance industry and they know they're still dealing with the business owner or somebody who has no experience with this, you're going to pay more for the ransom. They're going to be less likely to drop it down. And not only that, they may ramp up the attack even more. So these are things that we see that businesses aren't aware of. And cyber insurance is huge. If you don't have cyber insurance today, you're putting your business and your customers and everything at risk, because you're not going to be able to operate unless you're a multi-millionaire or billionaire. You're not going to be able to operate if an attack happens on your business. So this article goes on to say, cyber insurance take-up rate that AM Trust has seen is fairly low for small businesses. And while that number has steadily increased since 2016, it continues to lag the cyber insurance take-ups of mid and large-sized firms. And even those companies have struggled to maintain strong cybersecurity defenses during the pandemic. So what he just said is basically nobody's keeping up. Nobody's keeping up with cyber insurance. Nobody's keeping up with the things that need to be done, the policies and procedures and the work that needs to be done to really protect your networks. And that's a huge thing with cybersecurity, because if you go for cybersecurity, they're going to ask you, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where's your plans? Let's see what you have. They're going to make you attest to things or show evidence around things, because the cyber insurance business has matured. You used to be able just to fill out an application and check a bunch of boxes, and they'd write you a policy. Those days are gone. They are actually reviewing your business. They're reviewing your business practices. And then if they don't feel like that you're doing things well enough, they won't even offer you a policy. They'll say, we're not extending you a policy until you put these things in place. And you have to put a lot of things in place in order to, qualify for insurance. And then on the flip side of it, once you have the insurance, you have to make sure that you're maintaining what you're supposed to be doing. So businesses are unprepared. All right, so moving on. So now we have, the New York City Council moving to push some cybersecurity laws through that will make it illegal for anybody who receives New York City government contracts, they're making it illegal for you to pay the ransom. So basically what they're saying is you can't use city funds to pay ransom demands. And that's how they're working it. So essentially, you get a contract from New York City, that's part of your revenue. If you use any of that revenue to pay for a ransom demand, you're going to be breaking New York City law. So we're going to be seeing this playing out across the country. It's going to start in cities and states. They're going to put laws like this on the books where if you receive government contracts, because that's how they can control you, because you're getting taxpayer money as part of your revenue. If you do that, then you're going to be then you are not going to be able to pay ransom. Obviously, they can't put this restriction on private businesses if they don't get government contracts. But the reality of it is that your vendors and your clients are going to be putting similar demands on you here in the very near future. So as we can see, this week we also have an article here where North Korea is stepping up attacks on the banking industry. State-sponsored attacks will happen from North Korea on the banking industry. So not only do we have K-12 schools being targets, universities being targets, banking industry is targets. So big banks, small banks, credit unions, those are all targets, all the way from the big guys all the way down to the small guys. There's no discerning. If you have a vulnerability that they feel they can exploit, they're going to go after it. Red Cross cyber chief attacks on Red Cross chief cyber attacks increasing on hospitals. This was at the United Nations where the Red Cross came out and said that hospitals are a huge target for cyber criminals. They follow the money, these cyber criminals. They know hospitals have a lot of money. They know schools have a lot of money because schools have budgets. Schools basically have guaranteed income through taxes. Same thing with city governments. They have guaranteed money through taxes. Why not exploit them? Why not exploit the people, the contractors that provide them services? So contractors as well. When I talk about schools and I talk about city governments, I'm also talking about the contractors that support those companies because they usually don't do things themselves. They usually outsource a lot of what they need done as part of the government services that they provide. It's all over the place. And then, I want to jump into this last one here because I think businesses can learn a lot from this one. And even though it was Tesla, and I know everybody likes to say, oh, well, Tesla's huge. Of course, they're a target. This can happen to any business. It really can. The FBI did a great job here of foiling a Russian-based attack on Tesla. And what they wanted to do is they essentially wanted to compromise a Tesla employee to have that Tesla employee take a USB drive, walk into Tesla's factory, plug it into the computer, run a command, and then that command would launch ransomware on the Tesla network. If you want to read this story, I'll put it in the link below. I'll put a link in the comment section below. But the big thing here to remember is that your employees can be compromised. They can be compromised willingly, or they could be compromised unwillingly. Unwillingly, I mean through like a phishing email that they just unsuspectedly didn't think it was anything nefarious. They thought it was legitimate. They click on it, honest mistake, but now they created a problem in your business. The other thing is that they know about it. And in this case, this individual, this employee would have known about it, but they did the right thing. They went to the FBI right away. They told the FBI, hey, I've been approached by this person that I kind of know from my past. They're trying to get me to launch ransomware on my employer, Tesla. And the FBI got involved. The FBI actually furthered the attack, got more information. It took a little longer than they wanted to, but they actually got the criminals to agree to pay the person what was initially about $500,000. They were going to pay the Tesla employee $1 million to put this malware on your network. So think about it. If you're an employee that might be making, let's say, $40,000, $50,000 a year, do you think that if somebody came up to them and said, hey, I'm going to give you this USB drive, If you plug this into your computer at work, we will give you $1 million. So that's what's happening out there. So these are things that you can learn about or learn from in your business. What happened here at Tesla? So some of the things that you can do just to prevent things like this, real easy from a technical standpoint, don't allow USB drives to be plugged into your computers at your office. There's a way you can turn that off using technology so they can't even do it. It's not even an option. These are precautions that you may need to put in place. You may think, well, that's a huge hamper on productivity, or nobody's going to like doing that, or that's going to cause a huge uproar in my company because that's going to be so inconvenient. Don't ever use inconvenient as a reason not to do cybersecurity. Convenience is the reason why most cyber attacks happen. So I just want to leave you with that. I'm going to create another video next week, probably a bunch more hacks, a bunch more K-12s, hospitals, banks. You're probably all going to be targeted next week. So do the right thing. Make sure you're keeping your cybersecurity top of mind. Make sure you have a cybersecurity awareness program for your employees. And if you like anything you saw in this video, hit the thumbs up button down below. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. But throw a comment in and tell us what you don't like so we can change up the videos. If you did like something, tell us in the comments too. We're hoping that you subscribe to our channel. And anything else you want to see in the future from us, drop it down in the comments below. We love making these videos. We love cybersecurity and keeping it top of mind. We want to keep people protected, and that's the goal of this channel. So have a good day, everyone. Enjoy your Labor Day holiday, and we'll see y'all next week.